Since 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's has introduced a variety of colourful characters that, like it or not, are now a permanent part of the franchise. But have you ever asked yourself, through all the jump scares and confusing 8-bit minigames that I'm still puzzled about to this very day, which FNAF character is actually the most dangerous? Whom in this wide array of animals, clowns, and whatever the this is, who would actually be the most hazardous to your health? Well, in this video, using a complex rating system, I have single-handedly ranked every character in this franchise, from least to most deadly. And considering it is October, the month of spooks, I wanted to share it with you all. So, here's what's going to happen. As you can see from a very poor PowerPoint text box thing, I have chosen 4 categories I'm going to rank the characters by, these being speed, intelligence, weapons, and game mechanics. Each category has a possible 3 points that can be scored maximum, except game mechanics, but we'll get to that in a minute, making the maximum of points possible 9. Yes, I could have found a way to round up to 10, but no. I chose these 4 categories because the scenario we're going to be placed in. This scenario is that we are in an open space. Think of like the Pizzaplex or a big smelly cornfield. And our objective is to survive for a set amount of time, or for as long as possible. You have no items on you. No flashlight, no Freddy mask, no Phaser blaster, nothing. Just the clothes on your back and a dream of not dying. The speed category was chosen because if you can outrun the threat, they're not much of a threat now, are they? They get 0 points if they can't move at all, 1 point if they can move, albeit slowly, 2 points if they're relatively fast, and 3 points if they're faster than me or they can teleport. Intelligence was chosen to judge how likely the threat is to outmaneuver you, think of a strategy to get you, or find where you can hide. 0 points are awarded for them having no thought at all, 1 point is given if they can think for themselves, 2 points if they are relatively cunning or smart, and 3 points if they are kind of a big deal. And weapons was chosen because, well, let's say this, would you rather be hit by a squeaky hammer, by a toddler, or a Detroit Smash from All Might? If a threat can't hurt you, or can't hurt you very badly, you're more likely to survive if they catch you, which heightens your chance of success. 0 points are given for them basically having no way to hurt you, 1 point if they have basic hands and fists, 2 points for a deadly weapon, like if it's sharp or blunt, and 3 points if it's a ranged weapon. Now, game mechanics is a bit tricky to understand, but to put it simply, if a game mechanic stops a character from, well, being a threat, they're docked points for it. Think of an Enderman from Minecraft. Like, yeah, they're fast and can teleport, and they hit really hard, but they're never going to attack me if I don't look at them. If they're easily countered, all but 2 points are removed. If they're too weak to hurt me at all but 1 point is removed. And if there's no evidence just to say they can hurt me at all their points are thrown in the bin. And for a bit of context, we will not be pulling from the FNAF movie, FNAF books, all those weird games where Freddy is buff and or has a gun. Oh, and a FNAF world. So here we are on the tier list, on tierlist.com of all things, and here's our tiers. We have the most deadly, which is 8 to 9 points, deadly, which is 6 to 7 points, threatening being 4 to 5 points, easily countered, which is 2 to 3 points, and weak sauce, which is 0 to 1 points. We've got all our characters here. This tier list is made by Acid2K on Twitter, so follow them. And as you can see, it doesn't have any characters from the Ruin DLC. I could run a tier list within a minute, but I don't care. Okay, let's begin. Now, I think Freddy is a good place to start, because he's a very middle ground character in this list, being the main antagonist of the first game. And, in the title of all the other games, Freddy gets a single point for both speed and weapons. He only has his hands and mouth, and he's pretty slow all things considered, with an occasional burst of speed if he gets close. But he does gain 2 points for intelligence. While he does hop from camera to camera slowly like every other animatronic, he sneaks around and hides in the shadows, and creeps into your office when you aren't looking, instead of awkwardly waiting by the door for his moment to strike. Earning him a total of 4 points. Now, I'm lumping these two together because they act exactly the same, simply lumbering around the pizzeria without much thought, giving them 1 point in both speed and intelligence. However, while Chica only gets 1 point in terms of weapons, remember the cupcake doesn't do anything in the games, just the movie, Bonnie gets 2 points for weaponry. As well as not particularly dangerous, Bonnie does have his guitar, giving him that extra bit of range and damage, as well as something to hit me with, which would honestly really hurt. This gives Chica a total of 3 points, and Bonnie, next to Freddy, with 4. Foxy was always a different one in the first FNAF game, and here that gives him a big edge. He is famously able to sprint down the hallway to get you, giving him an easy 2 points in speed. He's also shown to be quite intelligent too, as he can take himself apart and put himself back together like he does in Ultimate Custom Night. Mangle must hate him, which also earns him 2 points. And for weapons, well, it should be obvious. He has a big mouthful of sharp teeth and a hook. 2 points, making him our first character with 6 points total. Now here is where it gets interesting. Golden Freddy. He was always an enigma in the first game, a random Easter egg that would just crash your game, that came along with its own unique jump scare and weird cryptic messages that, until recently, remained unsolved. And I really enjoy this about his character. Anyway, Goldie can teleport, giving him an instant 3 points in speed. And after our new knowledge of him, apparently creating William Afton's Purgatory, that makes him really smart and malevolent, all things considered. 3 points. But other than that, he has the same tools as Freddy, so 1 point for weapons. And wow, at 7 points, great showing for Golden Freddy, right? Well, you see, in every iteration of Golden Freddy, he had a unique trait. He appears at random, and all you gotta do to get rid of him is look away, aka pulling up your monitor or putting on a Freddy mask. And that tanks his points. It doesn't matter how strong he is, if I can survive by, well, turning around or shutting my eyes, he really isn't much of a threat. So, bar our game mechanics rule, Goldie's score goes down from 7 to 2 points. Sorry, my guy. And okay, that's all the FNAF 1 characters. Let's move on to the next game, and start with... He's pretty basic, not particularly fast, not having any weapons besides his hands, and even though he is a gamer, he can't even beat the simplest of games, so he isn't very smart either. That earns Toy Freddy 3 points. Once again, I am lumping Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica together, same as regular Bonnie and Chica, but this time they're actually earning the same amount of points. That's a lie, never mind, that should be cut out of the script. For speed, I think they both get a 2. They're probably just as fast as their OG counterparts, if not a bit faster, but they have been shown to be able to jump and pounce, giving them more mobility. For weapons, Chica gets 1 point, but Bonnie gets 2 thanks to his guitar. And they both should have personalities, outside of just... with Bonnie being very self-indulgent, big narcissist.
It's not my fault I'm so much more famous than you.
And Chica being surprisingly sadistic and slightly seductive in nature.
Let's go somewhere more private, so I can eat you.
Which earns them both 2 points. That earns Chica 5 points and Bonnie 6. Mangle was a bit tricky for me. I had a tough time figuring out some stuff for her, but I think I came to a good conclusion. For speed, he is our first character with 3 points, apart from Golden Freddy. Not only is he very fast, as shown when they dart through the vent in Help Wanted, but they also have the ability to climb walls and ceilings, making hiding pretty impossible. They get 2 for intelligence, like the other toy animatronics, except Freddy, and 2 points for weapons, having multiple arms they can grab me with, as well as a mouthful of sharp teeth, and an extra head, and some exposed endo parts that'd be quite dangerous. That gives Mangle our highest score yet, at 7 points. Now, I feel bad for doing this. The Wizard animatronics have some of the best designs in the whole series, and I will die on this hill. But in this scenario, they fall pretty hard. They aren't shown to be very fast, mostly because they're so old and beat up. They only have hands to fight, in Chica's case, none at all. And while they do have more personality now, thanks to UCN, they still just lumber around, dead-eyed, just standing in the doorway. 3 points for the 3 of them. Now, Wizard Foxy, however, does surprisingly well compared to others. He gets 1 point for intelligence, but gets an extra point in both weapons and in speed. While he's not shown to run like Foxy in FNAF 1, he is able to pounce like Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica, bumping him past the other Wizard ones, at 5 points. Sadly, it's the same deal as FNAF 1 Golden Freddy. Literally all I have to do is look away. He got a total of 8 points this time. He got an extra one for his giant floating head mode, but due to game mechanics, he only gets 2 points. The Balloon Kids are next, and yeah, big surprise, they didn't get very far. While they're shown to be capable of bursts of movement, those little stumpy legs aren't catching me. Both of them have their hands as weapons. I doubt BB's plastic sign and balloon could be counted as weapons. They do disable your lights and doors in the game, showing they're decently smart, although they could just be pulling up wires like a child. I'll just give them a total of 3 points each though, because it doesn't matter. Our game mechanic rule strikes again, giving us our first characters with 1 point. The puppet, or the marionette if you're fancy like, actually scored pretty average all things considered, given they are the giver of life. For speed they get just 1 point. It's kind of unconfirmed if they can float or not. I like to think they can, but other than that one minigame, you don't see him doing it. Help Wanted is the first time we see the puppet move in-game, and they're very lanky and wiggly, not very fast at all. They get a single point for weapons too. I'm giving them the absolute benefit of the doubt and saying they aren't just felt, there's some metal in there, but even then it's still basic. But for intelligence, they get 3 points. Like I said earlier, they're the one responsible for help bringing the animatronics to life, as well as having a very clear plan as to what they want to do, as evidenced by their UCN voice lines.
I don't hate you, but you need to stay out of my way.
5 points total. Next up is the Paper Pals. The Paper Pals. The Paper Pals. And they, Okay, now, this is where things get very interesting. Shadow Bonnie, or RSQ, I'm not saying his full name, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous characters on this list. Let me explain. The easiest to justify now is he can teleport, so an instant 3 points for that. He gets 2 points for intelligence too. He clearly has something going on. He isn't a brain-dead husk trotting about. As shown in the minigames, he has some sort of mission, but there isn't a lot of evidence for his personality, so I'll keep it at that. But weapons is where he gets complicated, At first you'd say he has basic fists, like Golden Freddy does, but he has a disturbing number of powers and abilities. For a start, he can cause blindness, making a room go pitch black like it is in UCN. Potentially travel through time and space, and has full manipulation over Dark Remnant, as seen in Special Delivery, where he is so aggressive. Even though these aren't direct weapons, like a guitar or a hook hand, these abilities he has will make it impossible to get away without anything to create light, his one weakness. Blinding you so you can't see him or where you're going, or cast his Dark Remnant on you, causing hallucinations and potential paralysis. So yeah, 3 points for that. Giving him our highest score yet, just missing out on a perfect 9. 8 points for RXQ. Now moving on to Shadow Freddy, who isn't as lucky. Unlike Shadow Bonnie, he didn't get the same treatment. He only appears in one game outside of some Easter eggs. And what does he do? Sit and walk. Well, let's rank him anyway. We need to be fair. He gets 3 points for speed. He can teleport after all. But that's about where it ends. He does something in the minigames, telling other animatronics to follow him to their death. So he definitely has some kind of mission? Or maybe that was William in the suit? I am really unsure. But other than that, he just sort of sits and does nothing. So I don't know what I can do for him. He never even attacks like Shadow Bonnie does. Can he even attack? Well, he gets 1 point for each other category. Well, that's 5 points, right? Right? Sorry, Shadow Freddy. I really have nothing to say that you'd ever be a threat to anyone. I can't even argue that you have the same powers as Shadow Bonnie, because you look so much different. So with a heavy heart, Shadow Freddy gets 0 points. Our lowest score yet. Well, on that depressing note, let's go on to the next game. Springtrap, the character with the hardest design in the entire series. Fight me. Like, what was Scott on when he made this guy? Anyway, for speed, Springle gets 1 point. He's lumbering just like the FNAF 1 animatronics. I feel like he's in pain when he walks. For intelligence, he gets a 3. He's William Afton, for God's sake. He made the animatronics. He experimented with Remnant. He cheated death, among probably a lot more other things. And weapons is 1 point. He doesn't have anything on him. That's a pretty pathetic showing for the series' main antagonist. Just 5 points. Maybe his other iterations will do better in the future. Yep, I'm ranking all these guys together. There isn't a difference between them. They can teleport, so 3 points. I feel like Mangle and Foxy have deadly weapons, so 2 points for some, 1 point for others. And I don't really know what's going on in their little watermelon heads. It really doesn't matter. There is no evidence that they can hurt me. They just jump scare you and disappear. That's 0 points for all of them. Okay, next is, oh. We are done for FNAF 3. FNAF 4 time. Nightmare Freddy, the one hiding under your bed. He starts off strong, having 3 points in speed. Now, I'm not sure if he can exactly teleport per se, but he does just sort of manifest into existence once all 3 Freddles appear for long enough. So wherever they are, he can be. He gets a good 2 points for intelligence, Not incredibly smart like Springtrap or the Puppet, but cunning and malevolent like Foxy is. And for weaponry, he gets 3 points. Not only does he have his sharp teeth and claws, but he also comes with the feathers. He can probably throw them at you, and even if you missed, they could chase after you. You'd basically be running from 4 different animatronics at once. The feathers probably couldn't kill you, but they could definitely injure you or slow you down. That gives Freddy an outstanding 8 points, right next to RXQ. Now, after an amazing performance from Nightmare Freddy, you would think Nightmare Bonnie would perform similarly? But after a bit of research, I've discovered some sad news. We'll get the easy stuff out of the way first. 2 points for weapons, those big teeth and claws, and 2 points for speed. While not as slow as some other characters, or as fast as some others, he's fast enough to chase me while keeping up somewhat. When it comes to intelligence, Nightmare Bonnie gets 1 point. Now you can make the argument he's just as smart as the other Nightmares, but in Ultimate Custom Night, he's brought off attacking you with a plushie of himself of all things. Like some dumb henchman in a kids movie, he sees a cute stuffed animal and he forgets he's supposed to be killing you. Yeah, you wouldn't have a plushie in this scenario on you, but that doesn't make him any less stupid. 5 points. Also, I want to say thank you to JGems. His version of Nightmare Bonnie with his stupid British accent is so iconic, it's all I could think about, but it's not canon to the character, goddamn. Okay, now, don't worry. Nightmare Chica is not going to be as tragic as Bonnie was. She scores the same in speed, being 2 points, and the same for Freddy for intelligence, not being as dumb as Bonnie, so 2 points for that. But for weapons, she scores 3 points, thanks to her Nightmare Cupcake. Now if the Cupcake was a separate character in this list, Chica would only get 2 points. But seeing as it isn't, Chica gets to have it with her. And unlike the regular Cupcake, who can't attack you at all, the Nightmare Cupcake actively hunts and can kill the player, which adds something Chica can throw at you or send it to attack you. So you're basically running from 2 threats at once. 7 points for Chica. Okay, short and sweet with this one, Nightmare Foxy gets 2 points all around. A fast guy, just as smart as his friends, an arm with deadly teeth, claws, and a hook. So 6 points. Now here we have, in my opinion, the second most dangerous characters in this franchise. You'll see who's number 1 later on. I'm putting these two together because they're basically exactly the same personality and gameplay wise. They both get 3 points for speed, because they can teleport, and 2 points for their giant teeth, giant claws, and giant stomach mouth. And for intelligence, they both get 3 points. Both having the same cunningness and sadisticness as the other Nightmares, while also being able to strategize where to appear in the bedroom, and seemingly having a high knowledge thanks to UCM voice lines.
We know who our friends are, and you are not one of them.
I am your wickedness, made of flesh.
A respectable 8 points. From one of the biggest characters to one of the smallest, Plushtrap is up next, and I can really only compare him to a small vicious dog. He gets 2 points for speed, he's pretty fast when it's dark, but gets 1 point for both intelligence and weapons. He may have the same sadistic nature as the other Nightmares, but he feels more like, I said before, a really pissed off small dog. And he does have relatively sharp teeth, but not sharp enough to leave lasting damage. 4 points to him. Okay people, it's time! The FNAF 4 Halloween update characters. I mean, it's Halloween after all, this is perfect.
The jack-o'-lantern. The chocolate ice.
I'm putting these two together because they act the same. They have a few minor differences, but not enough to give them different points. For speed, they both get 3 points for being able to manifest when the heat is high, like Chica can do in Ultimate Custom Night. In multiple places, might I add. They can literally be in 2 places at once, and it's safe to assume Bonnie can do the same. They get the usual Nightmare's score of 2 points for intelligence and 2 points for weapons. Chica does have her pumpkin that can kill you, but unlike the Nightmare Cupcake or the Freddles, it isn't very obvious how it kills you. It has no mouth to bite you, and it's strong enough to cause much damage when thrown. It's probably not solid metal or like a bowling ball, as we've seen it in the other FNAF offices during Halloween, so it's probably just a plastic prop. Now I know some of you die-hard Shadow Freddy fans are probably screaming in the comments, "Jenny, you didn't give him the same score as Shadow Bonnie, but you gave Jacko Bonnie points for something Chica has only been seen doing." And to that I say, the Jackos, thematically, are identical. They look the same, they act the same. Shadow Freddy looks and acts nothing like RXQ whatsoever. So come back to me when you have actual evidence. Oh yeah, right, that's 7 points for the both of them. Yeah. Now, Nightmare Mangle, apart from being a genuinely quite monstrous looking design, it isn't that difficult to work out. Like the other Nightmares, she gets 2 points in weapons, but she gets 3 points for speed, much like regular Mangle. So far the same, but because of the treatment we gave to Nightmare Bonnie, Mangle here gets a point for intelligence too, being bought off with a plushie of herself, so 6 points. There is one more character with the same mechanic down the line, and we'll get to them soon enough. Okay, so before I start talking about this character, I want to specify that Nightmare is my favourite character in the FNAF franchise. You'll see why I say this after I'm done ranking them. Anyway, Nightmare is a reskin for Nightmare in the FNAF 4 Halloween update. That being said, it gets a good 3 points to start for speed, because he can teleport. Then he also gets 3 points for intelligence, not just because he's a reskin of Nightmare, who also got 3 points for this, but also because there seems to be something going on with him, especially in Security Breach, where you can find plushies of him watching you from strange places, as well as the underground security bots, done with his face markings and quotes about dreams, which Nightmare seems to know a lot about, thanks to his UCM voice lines.
This is a nightmare that you won't wake from. The nightmare is just beginning.
Now I have no clue what this means, I'm no theorist, but it's clear Nightmare is pulling more strings than we thought. And finally, for weapons, as we can see in How Wanted, Nightmare is able to manifest tentacles from various parts of the room at once, while he's nowhere near. And while they probably aren't very sharp, based on the holes in the room, they are decently strong, and could easily catch, strangle, or even crush you once they grow onto you, which gives Nightmare a total of 9 points. Okay, look, listen, I know I say he's my favourite character, but this isn't rigged, I swear. I have shown you the evidence. And while we can make an argument that we should remove points from him, based on his UCM mechanic, we have to look at him from to manifest, he's never shown to have this ability ever again. And yes, I suppose we could make the same argument for Nightmare Bonnie and Mangle about their intelligence, but their intelligence has never been shown to us ever again, unlike all of Nightmare's abilities. I have a system in place, and I'm sticking to it. So, congratulations to Nightmare for achieving 9 points. The one you can't be made cute according to FNAF World, and it's very easy to see why. BB gets a firm 2 points in each category. 2 for his speed, as he's a reskin of Plush Trap, 2 for his weapons, for his giant mouth, and 2 for his intelligence, being just as conniving as Nightmare Foxy or Nightmare Chica. That is 6 points for this demon child. And with FNAF 4 over, it's time for our next game, which is okay, look, you can see the video is almost over, and I know I said I ranked every single character in this video, but Yeah, I'm kind of running out of time to edit this for Halloween, and there's a lot of characters to go, so I'm really sorry, but this is gonna have to be a 2-part series. Maybe? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Also, please subscribe, please. Thank you.